There we go. Sorry for that technical difficulty. If you got kicked out of the meeting, we seem to all be back now, which is good. So thank you. Yeah, welcome to Ben's AGM for 2021. Thank you for joining us. My name is Laura and I'm a director of Bristol Energy Network. Firstly, we want to extend a huge thank you to all of Ben's members and partners, interns and volunteers, the staff team, all of the directors and everyone else who has supported Ben over the last year. You've all enabled us to get one step closer to achieving our vision of a city where clean, green, affordable energy is delivered to the community by the community. So thank you so much for attending today and for supporting us over the last year and beyond. We're really grateful. We've got an engaging agenda today with a focus on the new Ben member offer. So we look forward to discussing that with you and a presentation of our COP activities, in addition to the usual Agm Business as well. Now, there'll also be an opportunity for updates from Ben members near the end. And finally, I'm very sad to say that we have 4 directors who are stepping down this year, but we have 4 exciting new candidates to introduce you to, whose expertise and enthusiasm will be a very welcome addition to the board. So we look forward to introducing you to those people today. I think we're pretty much bang on agenda, which is fantastic. So I'd like to hand over to Emilia to kick off with presenting the new member offer, please.
Great, thank you. There's a little bit of background noise going on here, so hopefully it won't be too disruptive. But yeah, so the member offer, I think you should have all seen the draft that we circulated last week, and we've really been thinking about how to make it more clear to everybody what it is that you get by being a member of Ben and how the membership is structured and what it means. So we've been playing with this idea of a member offer. That may or may not be the right title for it, you know, and this session now is all about hearing your feedback, what you think, how we should frame it. Is this helpful? But we did have feedback when we did the last member survey that some people weren't quite sure what membership of Ben actually meant. So yeah, this is designed to kind of clarify that. And also, as an organisation, we're thinking about how we can become more financially sustainable and make sure that we have enough resource to really focus on the members, because most of the money that we get in is for delivering projects, and those projects are not necessarily member oriented. And you know, Ben is a network that's all about its members. So yeah, there's really to kind of refocus our attention. So I've got a few slides here, and I'll just go through them fairly quickly, and then Rachel will put you into breakout rooms for discussion, and then you can chat to each other about what you really think and feedback to everybody. So yeah, this is draft. So Bristol Energy Network is all about creating a space for individuals and groups with an interest in clean, fair, sustainable energy to find each other and work together. So it's not just about what the staff can deliver and what the board does, but it's about how members can be available to each other, and all of the skills and expertise and knowledge of the members can be kind of shared between the members, and how we can best coordinate that and support that in an effective way. There are 3 different kinds of membership that we've described here. So the first is organizational membership, and that is the main part of our legal structure. So Ben is a community interest company, and the people who get to vote at the AGM today are representatives of member organizations. And so many of you may be here representing a community energy group, or anchor organisation, or some organisation which is a member of Ben. So Ben is this kind of secondary layer of organisation, an organisation of organisations, and things that we kind of offer to community member organisations are setting the agenda of the network, and we'd like to do that better than we have done so far. But you know, you probably have different experiences of participating in meetings, shaping the community energy strategy that was created back in 2013. We have different member engagement sessions over the year. So yeah, kind of setting the agenda of what the network does, accessing the skills and expertise of the network and sharing information with each other. We're thinking about creating a kind of curated space, potentially on the Google Drive, which is available to members, where you can collaborate, share equipment, share kind of documents and information with each other. That will take a little bit of admin time to make sure that doesn't just become chaotic, but that was really part of the beginnings of Bristol Energy Network, to not duplicate efforts and to share resources with each other. Building relationships across the network. We're really looking forward to being in person with you all again and having a space where it's much easier for all the members to just chat to each other informally. That's been a bit difficult over the past couple of years, but that's very much part of what it's all about. And then there's the shaping of policy in terms of both national and local policy, and raising the profile of member organisations and of community energy in the network. And then quite importantly is partnering on funded projects, and that seems to be one of the ways that we can support each other financially in a mutual way. And when you look at the eligibility side of the side, there's a kind of basics of agreeing with the values and principles of BEN, which is the current criterion for membership. It's available to community groups, community interest companies, social enterprises to become a member. And then we're really looking at how we can make a bit of a more formal agreement that when you make a funding bid, you include Bristol Energy Network within those funding bids. And we would do that in a mutual way. We have quite often included member organisations within our funding bids. And then the potential that those members which are making a significant amount of money might make a financial or in-kind contribution as part of their membership. So that's all up for discussion. Nothing's decided, and we really want to hear your feedback and thoughts about that. Individual membership, so that's something which is not part of the decision process of the network, but we would really like to formalise and to be clear on what individual membership means. And there is a Google group, which a lot of you will be members of already. And we're thinking that it might be good to make that Google group really be for members only, and to invite everybody who's on that Google group to become a formal member of the network, which means agreeing with the values and principles of BEN, offering your time and skills and expertise into the network, which many of you already do, and then being invited to make a financial donation if you can afford to. And we don't want to make any kind of barrier to access based on financial ability, but it's a really diverse group of people. And then in terms of benefits, pretty similar to the organisational members, but a little bit less of that governance in kind of participation on a formal level. And then we've also been thinking about companies, so kind of bigger, maybe not so much social enterprises, not so much rooted in the community energy sector. We've been building a relationship with Patagonia over the past little while. They've created a film about community energy and provided some sponsorship support and made their upstairs of their shop available for events. So for those kinds of organisations, historically, we haven't really been open to membership for those kinds of organisations, but just thinking about what would be the right balance, and whether we would ask for a more substantial financial contribution potentially, or what criteria we would use to decide whether companies can or can't become members. But yeah, it's really about making the network be about the giving and receiving of skills and expertise across the whole membership. And that is getting there. As I said, inclusion, openness is essential. So it's very, very unlikely. I don't think we're going to be requiring anybody to pay to become a member unless they're a corporate organisation. But the financial sustainability and the costs of curating resources and organising meetings for members and so on do need to be covered in some way, and yeah, whether that continues to be just through project funding or whether we have some contribution from members directly is open to discussion. And I think that's it for the slides. Oh, yeah, so yeah, I think we'll hand over to, we were going to go into small groups. It's occurring to me that, let me just stop sharing. It might be useful to hear about the financial report and the kind of report of what we've done in the year before discussing the member offer. It's a little bit of left field compared to the agenda, but could people just do a show of hands if you think it would be good to hear the financial report and director's report before we go into groups? It's a mix. Is that okay?
Why not?
Why not? Okay, Sam, are you happy to do that? You're going to be doing the financial report.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can.
Just because it touches on money, and I could imagine that having discussions about how much should be paid and what kind of contribution might be needed might just be more useful to have a bit of financial background to inform that conversation.
Yeah, I'll just see if I can find
I
my
will hand
notes
back
quickly.
over to Laura to continue.
Yeah, that's fine. So I can
yeah.
take on, do we want to kind of pull that out, have a discussion, and then go back to the other AGM business of presenting the director candidates? Yeah, let's do that. Let's just put it out like that. Great. Okay, so fantastic. That's fine. So I will be giving a verbal update, just a brief overview of the director's report, which is available to view on our website if you'd like to have a bit more detail, but I'll give a bit of an overview now, and then that will hopefully help inform some of the activity that we've been up to over the last year. So the past year has continued to be an extremely difficult time for many of our members and the communities that they support. We're completely aware of that. But we are thankful that we've been able to start supporting more face-to-face activity, such as the recent Community Climate Action event in Easton, which was fantastic and brought together members from across the community. There have also been events in Lockleys and Filwood, where thanks to assistance from volunteers, we have been able to support Bristol communities with energy advice, which unfortunately at the moment includes not switching your energy supplier. That's very important to get out there. We've also continued with online activity to ensure that these events are safe and accessible. But in all activity, we strive to represent and support our membership, and we'll be acting on the feedback from the member survey of last year to adapt the member offer, which is what we're going to be discussing in a second, and also commit to constantly improving on the equality, diversity and inclusion of BEN to ensure fair representation and opportunity, in addition to inclusivity, which is what Emilia was talking about just then. From an externally funded partnership project perspective, BEN has continued to work with Cse and other partners on the WAM project to bring more communities into energy awareness. And this involvement led to the Emergency Cold Winter Fund of last year, which raised an incredible £20,000 and was distributed through community organisations up until March of this year. So that was fantastic, and thank you to everybody that supported that. The Sonnet project is an EU-funded project and will soon come to completion. BEN's involvement in that project has included engaging with community buildings for a full energy audit and also promoting a citizen survey to gather the views of community building users regarding energy use. BEN has also been developing its own projects and continued with its collaborations. So BEN and Bristol City Council have agreed a partnership model to help support each other's work and joint objectives. This has supported the development of the Warm Up Skill Up project, the Energy Wallet, and also Energy Pledge to Action. And we hope to continue that partnership over the coming years, even with the development of potentially City Leap. We have been recruiting new energy champions and continue to train them with the hope that each community will have its own embedded champion. That's our mission as part of that piece of work. And we have also been supporting some of the CAP groups as they move through the process of putting their climate action plans together. BEN has been engaging with the City Leap process through a consortium of other community-facing partners, and also produced a report on the landscape and potential for community energy in Bristol. We did work with quite a few of the membership organisations to produce this, so thank you for everybody that inputted, because there are now 2 remaining bidders as part of City Leap, and the bidder that we produced the report for has now left that process. We're looking at the opportunity to share that more widely, so we'll be in touch with members about that. We've also responded to a whole heap of consultations and policy, coordinating responses with members, which included the publishing of the Ben 10 Asks report, which is also available to review on our website. Finally, our future plans. So in the future, we will be developing Ben strategy to ensure some long-term sustainable funding and also maximise our positive impact in the city by growing our membership and our reach to communities. And we have an exciting opportunity to attend COP26. So later on in the agenda, Emilia and Dave will be taking us through our future plans around that. I'm not covering the financial bit, thankfully, that's Sam. So I'll hand over to Sam.
Thank you. I think, yeah, it was a really useful summary of what we've been up to. So this is my last year acting as treasurer. I've been with Ben for quite a while and have seen how Ben has progressed over that time. It's always difficult in small organisations to keep going with unpredictable income. But what I'm really pleased is that we have had a steady flow of funding that's been maintained over my entire time. We've had a few hairy moments, but most of the time it's been running well, and we've managed to keep on getting money coming in. And I hope that our brilliant staff have felt a bit more secure that they will get paid, or at least they know when the money is due to run out. And that's been a kind of my priority as treasurer to make sure that there's some stability, or at least we know where we are. So the accounts, we've completed our accounts for June 2020 to 21. We will publish them so everyone can see them, but I'm not going to pull up all the numbers in front of you. And I have to remember to send them off to Companies House, get all the paperwork tidied up. Essentially, our position is that the cash in the bank has improved over the year. We had £34,896 at the end of the year, financial year, although our turnover has reduced, and that was really mainly due to COVID. A lot of activities have been delayed, and events haven't been able to take place. So there's been a significant amount of deferred income for services that we've been contracted to do, where the income has been paid in advance, and we've agreed to deliver it potentially later than initially that funding was due for. It also, that deferred income includes funds for lots of our project partners activities that have also been delayed. And I think one of the things is that it can be hard holding the funds for other organisations, but I think it's a really important part of Ben's role to take on coordinating those projects and enabling other groups to participate in funding bids. It's, you know, as you've seen with the member offer, it's a really crucial part of our role. So that's where those reserves are, although all that money is allocated and is due to go out to either activities that we planned or has already gone out since June. Our staff costs have gone up, which is, I see as a good thing, because we've now got more staff, and that means more support. But overall, our admin costs have gone down. Avoiding some office rent was a useful part, and consultancy fees. So yeah, the balance on that one has been good. And overall, the overall expenditure, I think we're left with £7 left once everything's been allocated. But since that point in June, we have still got further funding streams coming in. So we're in a comfortable position, and I think we will happily get through another year. So that's kind of my summary of the accounts. And I've been with Ben as a director for several years, and it's amazing to see what's been achieved. And I'm pleased that it's become, I'd say, more stable and it's delivering more impact. Over that time, my job, day job in sustainability at the hospital has grown, and I'm finding it harder to really commit sufficient time to Ben. But during my time on the board, I've tried to represent community energy group members, as I'm a director with Keynsham Community Energy, so I've got that perspective. And I intend to continue to be involved with Ben as a member, and look forward to meeting with you all again sometime in person, hopefully. I don't know if anybody's got any questions about the finances they want to ask about. I may be able to answer.
Hi, Sam. I do have a question. Sorry, my name is Rosanna and I'm a new person just joining in. But I do have a question which is relevant for the following discussion. So I am not clear why are we going to be asking parties who previously haven't been financially contributing if we are in good position. What do you think we will be needing these extra funds?
So I think the whole funding model is of how it works with membership is a completely open one. I mean, as I say, it has been bumpy over the years, and the funding that we get in is almost entirely project related. So actual core costs of paying the staff is often not factored into it. So I think that's where finding any kind of stable income stream, and where there are members who are in a position to contribute, or where funding could bids could help support the network. I think that's where it's important, but that is still exactly an area that is all up for debate. And as I say, there is £7 left in the kitty after all of our project outgoings are accounted for. So, in some ways, yes, we are in a good position, but actually there isn't any spare money.
Are you muted? Mm-hmm. Okay. Click along here.
Amelia, I don't know if you were saying something then, but we couldn't hear you.
Well, that's not the problem. I put the microphone there. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was just saying, if there are any questions on the member offer that I presented, I'm happy to take questions. Yeah.
So I think I really, because this is my first kind of participation in this kind of discussion, and I am worried. You probably have already gone through all these pros and cons, but I'm worried asking people that this is a community organization and you are invited to pay. I'm worried about that.
I think the main thing with the member offer isn't, I think as soon as we start mentioning the possibility that people make a financial contribution, everybody gets completely focused on that element of it. And so, yeah, maybe I wasn't careful enough in framing it that isn't the main thing that it's about, and we're not going to be requiring anybody to pay anything. So, and we really, really want the feedback from it. And so far, all the feedback we've had has very much pushed back against any, like, you must pay a membership fee. So that is an important part of the discussion, but we're also really, really interested in how we can organise things so that members are directly contributing to each other in a mutual way more than they have been so far, because the value of the network is not, I think it can be that people see the network as the projects that we're delivering, particularly because that's where the funding goes, is that we then deliver projects, but really it's all about the huge wealth of the many people with loads of skill, all kinds of different skills, like technical skills, interpersonal skills, like knowledge about the community that they're part of, communication skills, all kinds of different skills that people have within the network, and what we can do to make that more available to each other, and how much people are willing to kind of provide a bit more of their time, or make it more visible what their skills are, so that others within the network can access them. And that process is one of mutual benefit, because by being part of it, you also get access to that. Yeah, thank you for flagging that. And yeah, we will go into group discussions, and please don't spend the whole time talking about money, because it's really not just about that.
Would it be right just to contextualize it very slightly? So we've been going for 10 years with working together and delivering projects, and we've had this bumpy bits in between. And I think what we're saying is, how can we strengthen the network in the next 10 years, particularly with the climate emergency? How can we work together stronger? How can we prevent the net? We want to continue the network being an open place for all members, whether you're a small unconstituted group, or if you're a charity that's constituted and well resourced. It's about how can we be the sum of our parts, where a project couldn't happen in isolation by one community. By being a network, we've been able to deliver some major projects and help put together and support projects like the Bristol Energy Cooperative and the Cse project, to go from very small idea to quite a citywide project within a relatively short space of time. So I think recognizing that by having this dialogue between each other, having a place where we can go, has helped us to have a real rich diversity ecosystem of different types of energy projects, which I don't think is reflected quite so well anywhere else. So I think we're doing a good job at what we're doing, but I guess what we're trying to say is, how can we resource the network so that we can function in a time of a climate emergency and actually rise to the challenge of creating community enterprises that can deliver that? So it's that's the wider context, and maybe having a financial contribution at some level helps to show that commitment to that collective working, but perhaps there's other ways of expressing that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree, and maybe wrongly, because you might, you've been doing this for much longer, but I think it's not the membership who are primarily community groups, and they are not as a target of financial support for us. They are from us, right? I'd expect, but we should be looking, I completely agree, for consistent income streams from places, for example, like City Council, like WECA, but not from the membership. And we have alternative models for that financial contributions are welcome. You can always have a box saying financial contributions are welcome on every page, but not putting that as something so explicit, because, and Emily, you are right, people will always say, that's there, then I have to think twice if I want to join it in or not, and that's not what you want to do with a network to start with.
Go for it, Emilia.
So I think that's really useful framing. So thank you, Rosanna, for raising that. Maybe now is the time to go into groups, and this is, as I said, the financial bit is a really, really small with a massive question mark bit of and very voluntary bit of what is in that member offer document. So please don't spend all of the time in the groups talking about that. You know, you can give your view on it, but we'd really like to know positively, what do you want membership to mean? How do you want it to work? What do you want to get out of membership? What is clear about it? What's not clear about it? Do you feel like you're able to shape the agenda of what the network is doing or not? You know, how do you want to participate in that process? What would it mean to be able to have more of a say in how the network operates and so on? So please, you know, the financial bit, we've really heard it, and keep that to 5% of the time maximum. You're going to have a limited amount of time, and please have a rich conversation around what membership should mean.
Mark had his hand up briefly. I don't know if it's worth just catching.
I was just going to check, because it sounds, listening now to Rosanna, that because previously I thought there was no plan to actually ask all members and community groups for membership for funds, but has that changed?
It has not changed.
Okay,
There is
cool.
no plan to ask all people to make financial contributions.
This is
It's just that when we talk about exploring the possibility that some people might make some financial contribution,
Well, yeah,
people get
okay.
very scared about it. So that's
Yeah.
why we need to just, be a bit more clear about it. So
Okay.
Thank you, because I'm sure others will
Do
also.
you want to just
wondering about
rephrase
that.
the question again just before we go to the break? Sorry. Breakout.
Yeah. So the question is, what does membership mean to you? What would you like it to look like? How would you like to collaborate and communicate with other member groups, and share mutually your skills and expertise and knowledge? That's turning into a really long question, but I'll go shorter again. What does membership mean to you? What would you like it to mean to you? And how would you like the network to organize it so that it's even more useful and clear what is offered than it has been so far?
Brilliant. Thank you. So I think Rachel will be kicking us into breakout rooms.
Yeah, I'm just about to pop you into some rooms. I've put some very ugly looking links in the chat, but I wonder if everyone, or a handful of people at least, can copy and paste that into the chat of the groups that I put you into. And there's just so we can make sure we capture some of your ideas and feedback. That'd be great. Okay.
Emilia, could you put the question in the chat as well, please?
I will. Let me do that. So I need to do it before you go into the group, otherwise you won't see it. And please, whilst I'm doing that, copy and paste the things that Rachel put in the chat.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so yeah, do
Okay.
copy and paste before you go into the group, because you won't be able to see
I'm
it.
going
once
to
you're in
create the groups now. Okay.
Thank you. Great. Is that everybody back? Fantastic. Thank you. I'm just going to ask again if everybody can please put yourself on mute if you're not speaking, and please don't be offended if you get muted by an admin person. We've had a couple of issues with feedback, so it just helps the conversation. Thank you. Did you want to do some feedback from that session, Emilia? I think that was the plan.
How are we doing for time?
We're only about 5 minutes.
Can we do a kind of so hopefully everybody's written really detailed notes, which we will look at, and that will be really, really useful. Maybe we could do a kind of really, really short one sentence from a few people who have a real nugget that they can say very concisely.
Yeah.
From a few different rooms. So maybe hands up anyone who has a like nice concise nugget or insight from your conversation. Benny.
There we go.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. So I thought this was a great suggestion from Emily, and she said, so this is Emily from Eastside Community Trust. And Emily, I hope you don't mind me paraphrasing what you said, but you said in terms of drawing on the network, you know, one of the challenges is not really knowing, or, you know, what all the network do and what sort of background experience they've had. So would there be some way of just kind of having like a hub of that information where people could put forward, you know, their experience and, you know, potentially what they could offer by way of support? And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea.
Thank you. Mike.
At the last minute, I said that the members of Ben with their different expertise are like separate pieces of a jigsaw. And if we put those pieces together, we can make a bigger picture to present to people like the council or WECA or indeed BASE and indeed Boris. And, you know, maybe have a bit more oomph behind us.
Great. I really hope that is captured. All of those things, I really hope they're captured in the notes because they're really, really valuable. Can I add something? I think just noting how difficult it is in lockdown to really get to know each other, and you know, maybe adding to the insight from Emily, I'd love us all to be in a room and to invite everybody to say a little bit about their background, what their skills are, and you know, introduce themselves, and then be free to go and chat to whoever sparks your interest or has a skill that you think would be useful for you. And I think, you know, there used to be a lot more of that just happening, and yeah, more of that. And this kind of safety, we talked in our group about learning from each other's experience, and particularly the challenges and difficulties, and being able to share really honest stories of learning probably needs an amount of confidentiality and trust to be there. So how do we foster that?
Gathering up all of that insight and hopefully finalising the new member offer, I'm sure, with some further conversations with people, and then we can share that around and yeah, start to implement it. So thank you very much to everybody for your contributions. We're bang on time. This is great. So the next section of the agenda that we were going to go into was Agm Business. So we've already gone through the report and presented the accounts to give some context to that conversation there. So thank you. But now we would like to introduce the new director candidates to present themselves. We have 4 directors that are standing down and 4 candidates who have nominated themselves. So we proposed that we would bring those candidates on board without a vote, and that was agreed, which is fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited to say that we do have 4 new board members who will be joining us today. But yeah, it'd be great to have you introduce yourselves, if you wouldn't mind. Just a bit of feel free to pipe up, whoever would like to go first.
I can go first. Shall I go? Yeah.
Yes, please.
So, yeah. So my name is Aisha Stewart. I'm not here anymore in my council capacity. But I think a few people, from my previous role, where I was working in the energy service, working on kind of a range of fuel poverty and kind of domestic energy efficiency projects. But I was really keen to be quite still involved in what's going on within the city. And I think Ben is a really great opportunity to continue some great work and work with some incredible people. So I'm really excited to see kind of what the future holds. But I look forward to meeting those that I haven't met yet.
Shall I go next? Hi everyone, so I'm Kirsty. It's a real pleasure to meet you all over Zoom. I work for Heart of BS13 and we've been working on a community climate action plan as one of the 6 members. And it felt like the work that I'd done with Ben back in the winter around fuel poverty, and seeing how as a network we could really pull something amazing off and raise like the £20,000, and it felt like such a good cause, and I really wanted to find out more and be involved and also represent the area that I live in. Although I work for Heart of BS13, I live in Withywood, and it's an area which is on the top 1% of multiple deprivation of indices, and fuel poverty is really real where I live, and I felt like I could come on not just with like some of my professional knowledge, but also with some of the stuff that I've had firsthand experience of. So welcome everyone, and look forward to working with you all.
Okay, my name's Boise. I'm a semi-retired natural builder. I build with straw bale, hemp, lime. I know a number of people on this call, Roz, Mike and Dave, and I've been a volunteer with the Cheese Project for 5 years now, although we had a little break over the past little time. We all know what that's all about. I also volunteer at the Bristol Wood Project. Yeah, so that's me.
Thank you, Rosanna. Hi.
Yes, I am the number 4. I work at the University of Bristol, and I'm computer scientist by day job. But I would like I have been working on energy transitions for the last 7 years, primarily as a researcher, and I've been trying to support and collaborate with Ben for a few years as well. And my key point is really helping to take what we do at the university and to support Ben and support the city with activities that we are already doing. And actually, we in a lot of things that we are doing at university, we need community engagement and community support as well to know that what we're doing is meaningful. So I think it will be really, really good for us to engage and to use the whole potential that the university has for the good of the city. So, for example, I was just mentioning people who are doing degrees like in digital marketing and wanted to do things to support energy transitions, or like our computer science students will be interested in doing projects for so one of my students is doing food waste reduction project. So we have a lot to do that we can coordinate and use for the good of the city rather than for nothing, I think.
Thank you, Rosanna. And Paul?
Paul seems to have disappeared.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if his internet has dropped out or.
I can see Paul.
A different Paul.
Oh,
Paul
sorry, yeah, Paul Chandler.
Hopefully he'll be able to join us again in a moment.
Yeah, exactly, and we can have an intro from him in a sec. Thank you. Yeah, we have, as I said, we have 4 outgoing directors this year, unfortunately, and we'd like to hear from a few of them. A couple of them have been with us for a very long time. I wouldn't like to say how long, but have been instrumental to the development of Ben over the last 10 years, and every director contributes in their own way, and every time we lose a skill, it's sad to see, but we're grateful that we can have new people constantly enthused about joining Ben and helping our network. And we hope that the 4 directors that will be stepping down this year will continue to be able to be involved with Ben as much as possible. So yeah, I'd like to invite those directors to say a few things. If anybody would like to go. I know we heard from Sam.
I can go first if you like.
Yes, please.
So I've got some notes, because they were fun. When I started thinking about what I wanted to say, there was quite a lot. So yes, I'm about to head off and have a baby. So like Sam, I'm finding that demands on my time are going to be changing. But I just wanted to say thank you so much really to the Ben board and to the team, and to the members for having me for, I think it's about 4 years. It's been a pleasure and it's been an honour, and I've really loved seeing Ben develop and grow in strength and in impact, I think too. I think one of the challenges for Ben over the years has been defining like exactly what our role is and where our niche is and how we kind of fit into the ecosystem of Bristol. But I also feel that this kind of fluidity is one of our greatest strengths, and it enables us to be flexible and responsive and to get involved where we're needed, with a focus more on what we want to achieve as opposed to exactly how we intend to do it. Recent examples of this responsiveness are our leadership of the Community Energy Propagator project in response to City Leap, the amazing winter fundraiser for local families in hardship during the pandemic, and Dave's role in bringing together and supporting lots of different partners for all kinds of projects, including the Warm Up Skill Up project and plenty of others. So in terms of my role as a representative of CSE on the board, I've been really impressed with how ably and flexibly the team have engaged with and delivered on CSE's future-proof and WAM programs. And I know that Ben's input has been invaluable in terms of taking community engagement to the next level and building momentum behind those initiatives. And I think for me, another major highlight has been seeing how each new member of staff has brought their own skills, experience, enthusiasms, and loads of ideas to Ben, and kind of put their own stamp on the organisation and moved us forward in their own way. I really think the current team are just totally fantastic. So running the risk of making people feel a bit awkward, I just wanted to say, you know, Dave, you're literally always bubbling over with ideas and nothing is ever too much, which is probably why Dave always has so much to do. But this comes from a place of really like real deep care and commitment to Ben and to our mission and beyond, to the people of Bristol, to decarbonisation and to a fair transition. So Dave, you're just amazing. Emilia, you're also really fantastic. And I really feel like Emilia has brought a kind of professionalism and rigor to Ben, which the whole organisation has benefited from. She asks really difficult and really poignant questions, which have helped us to shape our work in such important ways. And I think Emilia's kind of forensic understanding of fairness and citizen decision-making has enabled us to kind of underline the community and community energy, if that makes sense. And then Rachel I hadn't met before she joined Ben, but from our first meeting, I could just tell that she was a really fantastic appointment and a real asset. And Rachel has seemed to kind of almost instantly grasp all of the myriad projects, ideas, initiatives, and the kind of history of Ben, and has just made a huge amount happen in a short space of time and not very many days per week. She's incredibly organised and seems to keep a lot of the sort of Ben pots spinning at once, while simultaneously turning out really high quality communications, funding proposals, other written materials. So yeah, you guys are completely amazing. And And of course, the board is totally brilliant, and I've loved working with you all. I'm not going to name everyone and make everyone feel awkward, but I've really loved collaborating with every one of you. And I'm super excited about all the new nominations. What a brilliant group of candidates, or appointees, in fact. And I hope you'll all find it as interesting and fun as I have. And then, okay, I'm nearly done. The final thing I wanted to say was just that it's been really brilliant meeting and hearing from all of Ben's members. And obviously, as a membership organisation, our members really are the biggest motivation for our work. And it's something we've talked about in almost every board meeting, probably every board meeting. It's been a hugely challenging few years, you know, from changes to the feed-in tariff and tax relief and, you know, other kind of national level policy changes that has made community scale renewable projects really difficult. And then we've obviously had a global pandemic, but yet community energy in Bristol has continued to grow, to develop, to innovate, come together. And Bristol and the Ben membership are really an amazing example of this. So I just can't wait to hear what you all do next. And I'll definitely be keeping in touch. So thanks, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Jenny, for that and your amazingness and being the rock that you are, all of the board, through all these uncertain waters. It's having that rock of you guys, the board, to come back to and always like steady the ship while we were bouncing around trying to work out what to do next.
Thanks, Jenny. We missed you.
Thank you so much. That was really heartfelt. That was lovely. The notes were worth it.
It was difficult trying to get your thoughts down, and you think I'm just going to make 3 key points, and then sure enough, you've like written an essay. But
Caroline, would you like to say anything?
To follow that was amazing, Jen. Thank you. You said all the good things about the staff that I might have said. So I'm probably not going to say that, except to say, yeah, absolutely. We've had some amazing staff over the years, and we've had an amazing selection of people on the board as well. My story with Ben goes way back to scarily 2012, when I first got involved with Ben through a research project called Maintaining Momentum, which is looking at what happens when community groups get a burst of funding, and it explored the role of intermediaries such as Ben and CSE in supporting groups beyond that role of that funding. And then from that, I helped to put together the Bristol Community Strategy for Energy, which was an amazing community effort in 2013, and a strategy that still is completely valid today as it was then. And then I became a founding director of Ben as it became a CIC in 2014. So, you know, that gives me some sort of longevity with Ben. So I guess from that basis, it probably is about time I step down and just put some new voices and some new energy into the board. Similarly, I have other pressures on my time at the moment, which is why I'm stepping back. But, you know, between 2012 even and now, you know, Ben's done some amazing things. It's grown and matured in how it works and what it achieves. The 2015 Green Capital Year and what we did with the Energy Action Group was really interesting, and spun out some great projects such as Cheese. You know, look where Cheese is now. That started in that year. Then we had extra funding from the City Council for the Community Energy Best Practice Project in 2016. And that really developed our sort of community outreach type approach and enabled us to employ an outreach officer to help us really engage with different groups across the city. So thinking more about how we look at not just community energy groups, but all the different varied communities in the city, and how we can try and bring them into thinking about energy and thinking about inclusion in energy. So that was a really important project in changing the way that we work and developing the way we think about inclusion. We've been really lucky, no, I wouldn't say lucky, clever maybe, I don't know, to get some good funding for other projects, such as Replicate and Sonnet, which has really helped us again to expand our impact and expand our reach into different parts of the city. So during the time I've been working with Ben or been engaged as a director with Ben, I took on staff management role for a little while, probably from about 2016 onwards, which is kind of interesting and challenging because we've always had such feisty, creative, busy staff, but it was, you know, a pleasure to be able to do that. And I'm really pleased that Laura's taken that on when I stepped back from doing that last year. And as a lot of you probably know, I was chair for a while as well, from I think about 2017 to last year. So, you know, I've been involved in everything pretty much that Ben's done over all of that time. And not forgetting, of course, the 2 fantastic conferences we had in 2018 and 2019 that, again, was a step change in how we engage with people and engage with the city. So, guys, I wish you all the very best. I wish you a lot of luck in what we do next, or what you do next. I'll be around. I'm not disappearing completely. Yeah, that's me, I guess. Good luck, guys.
Well, Caroline, you've been incredible and superhuman at times with the amount of stuff you've managed and you know, been as much as part of the staff team and everything else throughout the time. And a lot of things wouldn't have happened, and Ben probably wouldn't be here without your efforts. So thank you so much, and to Sam and to Jenny, and for really encouraging us to stick with it when we felt like we couldn't carry on doing this. You guys have been there to say, no, you can, and we're here for you. So that's, you know, when you haven't got guaranteed funding, you can't see whether there's going to be funding after Christmas type thing. Having a really sane board that are able to keep you sane, keep you motivated, it's been really, yeah, you can't get that anywhere other than from people's hearts. So thank you so much for bringing your personality to forward in us all. But yeah, that's something I just wanted to say from myself, and I'm sure lots of other people want to say something too. I just wanted to say that myself.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. You've been a driving force for Ben. So yeah, everything you've done will be continued, we hope, and expanded on. So thank you. Sam, do you have anything to add from your comments earlier?
Not really. I think I'm feeling a bit sad. I'm leaving now.
Well, there was a moment where I actually thought I need to just get a full-time job, and Sam was like, no, don't do that. That was back in 2011. so you've been a good motivating force, Sam, and a rock as well. So all the way through. So and as you say, you're not leaving the city. So
yeah, no,
and you are an energy manager. So
exactly.
Might want an EPA or something.
You're bound to get me tied in into everything anyway.
And Caroline, you know, you're still working in this field.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah, and Rebecca's not able to join us today, but Rebecca Windermere is also stepping down. She has taken on a lecturing role, which has taken up a lot more of her time. So she will still be acting as an advisor for policy related aspects, and she's been integral to helping us with coordinating consultations to policy. So yeah, thank you to Rebecca and to all of you, to Caroline, Sam and Jenny as well, for everything that you've contributed, and welcome to Rosanna, Aisha, Kirsty and Paul. And Paul, we missed you in our section of introducing the new board members. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've spent my entire day trying to get internet or phone signal or WhatsApp, sort of struggling in St Werburgh's, even came across the city to try and find an internet connection. Yeah, hi. I've had a bit of a crazy week. I came down on Sunday. I did my first solar panel installation in Bristol on Monday and Tuesday, signed a contract for a house on Wednesday. Went there with the builders today. So I'm really excited to be moving to Bristol, and really excited to meet all you guys and hear all the projects. I've been an investor in Bristol Energy Co-op for years. I've been involved in renewable energy and community energy for 20 years. And I'm just moving from Nottingham in Derbyshire, where I've established myself, running a business, installing panels and batteries, down to Bristol. I'm just really excited to meet everyone, and hopefully we can meet in person one day. That would be, even if it's just in small groups of 6 outside in the park or something, that would be nice. In fact, I have actually met up with Emilia and a couple of people already. And yeah, I look forward to meeting everyone and working with everyone. I'm yeah, really excited. So thank you.
I think we're there was a plan for a quick break now, so I think we'll have a quick kind of 3-4 minute comfort break. If we can come back at 7:25, please, and then we can go into the final agenda items, which are running through our planned COP activities and then some announcement from members to finish at 8 o'clock. So yeah, thank you and see you back in a few minutes. So we are into a presentation about COP activities. Yeah, and exciting. We will have our very own Emilia and David attending this year. So I'll hand over to them for a presentation.
Dave, you start.
I haven't prepared a presentation as such, but I have been in meetings today with regards to COP. I just say something about it. So really, we're going to be in the so-called blue zone, which is where the politicians and dignitaries and all of their entourage will be gathering to really hammer out agreements on how they're going to get to the Paris Agreement, the tools for actually net zero effectively. And it's our job really to accost those people according to the rules of accosting. You've got to be very careful not to get kicked out, to actually promote what we do and show them how communities actually have solutions themselves that if invested and given the resources, we can actually deliver megawatt scale projects and also innovation projects such as the thermal imaging cheese project and warm up skill up project and all of the amazing things that you do. And so that's the things that we'll be there to promote, is that how ministers in this country can put communities firmly in the path of net zero. So that's our job, and we're going to be there for the first week with 8 other community energy and representatives from around the country to share our knowledge and experience and to bang that drum really, so that other communities and potentially other countries might actually start recognizing their communities and investing in them and their infrastructure as human infrastructure to get to net zero. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded. Do you want to add to that? I mean,
I'm not sure there's much to add to that. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I think that was great.
I guess there was a bit of an ask from yourselves as to the sorts of asks that you want us to pitch to political leaders, and that's, yeah, we're really there to carry your voice and give you a seat at the table for yourselves, you know, so that really we're there to represent you, so that's one of the important things, is making sure we've got a message you want us to take to COP. So yeah, maybe that's a chance for you to say what you want to say to leaders that we might come across.
Yeah, so we've planned in the agenda to have a short breakout room session now for you to think about what message you want us to take to COP. And I think, as Rachel, have you set that up?
Yeah, I'm just going to use the same notes as before. So what I'll do is I'll pop you in rooms, and then I'll put that on the broadcast. And if one of you could take some notes for your group, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, so maybe try and should we do the notes in the chat again, because that worked quite well last time?
Yeah, or I can put them in the broadcast,
I'll
then
do
they'll
that.
be in
Okay.
all your chats, which might be easier. So, right.
So yeah, the question is, what message do you want myself and Dave to be taking to COP? Yeah, please tell us what you want us to be representing.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody. That was some really interesting discussion. I hope everybody got as passionate as our group did about Dave was in our group and he did say that he may get kicked out. So we're going to see what see what happens there. Hopefully not. Hopefully he stays long enough for acceptable behaviour.
It might be there 2 hours before I'm hoisted out.
Before you have to chain yourself to something. Brilliant. Thank you. Yes, we'll be collating that and obviously updating you on how that engagement at COP26 goes. Really exciting. I hope you're all kind of planning to follow as much as possible. Yeah, if you or your organisations happen to be attending as well, please look out for Dave and Emilia. Otherwise, we'll be feeding back after that event. So thank you very much. So for the last section of the meeting, we're keen to ensure that the members have access to the stage. So I know that there's a couple of items that are already listed here. So I'm not sure who's, so there's an update on RAID, update on the Muslim Guide to Climate Change, and then also Cse Training on the 2nd of November. So I'm not sure if anybody in particular was planning to do updates on those 3 areas.
Yeah, I'll jump in for, I was emailed an update from Stuart Phelps on RAID. Let me just find it quickly. Right, so I'm just going to share my screen if I can do that quickly. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Can everyone see that? Bristol Pledge, it should say at the top. So this was sent through from RAID, the Residents Against Dirty Energy, and they are working on a campaign asking people to make a pledge around not burning wood or solid fuel because of the air pollution that it's creating. It says here that wood stoves pollute as much as 18 diesel passenger cars or 6 modern heavy goods vehicles. So they're working in collaboration with Breathe, the Clean Air Coalition, and they would like members of the network to join their pledge against that.
Is this true?
This was sent through by RAID. I don't know where their research comes from, but this is what was presented with today.
I mean, I've looked into this, and it's always difficult, but it isn't far off. It's okay. Yeah.
So what I want to know is currently there are installations of or how's it called? They are wood stoves, but there are particular specifications. Does this apply to any, or does it apply to like the old ones? Or
so I used to be an air quality consultant back in the day. The problem is that oh sorry, the problem is that the wood burning stoves, even those designed for clean air zones, they're not checked in the same way as a large biomass boiler would be out, that would come under regulation. So the seals can go around them, and they do have problems with that. And so yeah, there is a genuine problem with wood burning stoves, and it's a bit like the diesel car problem, where people are encouraged to buy a diesel car instead of a petrol car for carbon saving reasons. Similarly, something's happened here with wood burning stoves, and so yeah, so we do have a problem, particularly in places like St Werburgh's, where you've got the way the geography is of the hillside is very poor air quality. It does sit in St Werburgh's when people have got their wood burning stoves on, so there is a problem. So there is perhaps something to be looked at about how many wood burning stoves are in certain communities where it's particularly poor air quality already.
So the reason that I'm asking is because I have, and I can't remember where, but I have heard statistics saying that wood stoves are better than gas the modern clean wood stoves are better than gas. That's what I've heard. I can't put my finger where, but the reason that I'm raising is that we need to be clear and we need to be precise. If we're putting a message out to people and saying, then we should be sure this is correct. And that's.
I've explored this at length with air quality scientists and Bristol City Council's own experts, and there's no question. I mean, there's a wonderful graphic which I'll try to find and circulate, which shows a dirty old wood stove, which is just off the scale, a really, really modern one, which is a whole lot better, but then compared to a gas boiler in terms of certainly NOx and particulate matter, etc., it's just, overall, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And even carbon, it's highly questionable, really, the carbon efficiency of stoves. So I think we can be clear. We probably don't want to get clear fully in detail in the meeting, so I'll shut up now, but I'll find that graphic and circulate it.
Yeah, I should clarify, when I say better, it was in the carbon impact, because the point was that you only recycle the carbon with replanting the trees and using the stored carbon through that, whereas in the gas you are releasing something which is not offset in that, in that conversation. But it would be really nice to see. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I think so. It seems like the RAID campaign is quite focused on air quality in the local area and the impacts of air quality as well. So I think that's the mission that they're going for in that campaign.
I can provide the scientific evidence and share that with members if they like, to show, as I do have that. I've dug it out before. So I think we've been asked, really, do we support this? Does that? What does that mean?
I think I was just
for announcements from other members as well.
Okay,
yeah,
it was. And there's only a few minutes left. So
it was just to share.
Discussion.
It was just to share that campaign today, because none of the representatives could be here to do it themselves, so I was doing it on their behalf.
Yeah, so I think if anybody has any questions, they can hopefully go to the group directly. Thank you. So we have a couple of others that are already listed, and then I'll open the floor to anybody else. So the Muslim Guide to Climate Change.
Okay, so this is something Emily can probably talk on as well, but the Eastern Jamia Mosque has published a Muslim's Guide to Climate Change. It is now available on our website. It's also on the East Side Community Trust website, and so please go and have a look and download it and share it. It's great. Thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, please go and have a look at that. And then there's Cse Training on the 2nd of November from 10 till 11:30 in the morning.
Yeah, that was just another opportunity to attend for anyone who might like to come along and learn more about the Warm Homes discount, which is to help those struggling with their energy bills, see if they're eligible for that, and to learn some basic home energy saving tips. We're running a program in conjunction with the Warmer Homes Advice and Money Service project to help train up energy champions within the communities, so that everyone has a bit of energy knowledge that they can share with those around them. So if anyone's interested, I'll put the Eventbrite in the chat, and please do sign up and come and learn about how to save energy and how to give advice around energy.
Thank you very much. Mike and David Saunders, I can see that you've got your hands up. I think Mike was first to the post on that.
Yeah, hi Laura. What I would like to see banned are these bloody heaters that they put out of doors in pubs and restaurants that are now migrating onto the pavements because of COVID, which are trying to heat up the universe. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to allow these things. And, there should be a citywide ban. And surely this is possible to achieve through local legislation on these outdoor heaters, these gas heaters.
Maybe something to raise with local councillors potentially to discuss that. And I'm sure that we could do that in our links into the council as well. But yeah, you're very right, Mike, especially as we go into the colder period now. I think we're going to see more of them as people are still wanting to sit outside, aren't they? So which makes sense.
Yes, but they can put more clothes on, or as in Lithuania, put a rug over their knees. You know.
Indeed, yeah. We should all just carry rugs around with us. That would be fantastic.
Well, the restaurants can provide rugs.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much. Blankets. Yeah, blankets, definitely, yeah. David Saunders?
Well, just to respond to Mike, it would be interesting to run experiments with low frequency infrared heating panels, because that radiates solar heat, or the sort of solar heat that warms skin up and just heats up people's skin. Very efficient heating system, and maybe just as efficient as heat pumps and so on. So worth an experiment. But that wasn't what I wanted to mention. Following on from Lockley's Love Solar, I was always interested to see more integrated plans for communities than the limited experiment that a shared solar rooftop would be. And that's coming together within the Community Climate Action Project. And I've been doing some work with CERA, Socialist Environmental Research Association, to try and see the Community Climate Action Project as a follow-on from citizens' assemblies and as a model for the One City Climate Strategy. And then to expand the funding from just 4 physical neighborhoods and 2 specialist communities to all neighborhoods, which would bring in more funding for those neighborhoods, and it would bring in funding for project work for Ben. So I'm interested to work with Ben on that, because this could be, you know, the Community Climate Action Project could be bringing in £3 or £4 million in funding for 4 neighbourhoods. What could you get for 14 neighbourhoods? And lastly, I've been banging on for a long time about how solar energy has been growing exponentially. At last, there's a fantastic research paper come out showing that governments and NGOs and energy agencies have been predicting the growth rates of renewables very, very badly, and that solar, wind, heat pumps, all of these things are on exponential learning curves, meaning that the cost will come down faster than people expect and deployment will happen faster than people expect. So I'm right this second sharing a link to this research paper. It's many more pages than the link that I've shared further up in the chat of the work I did for CERA. But in a 100-page report, if you read the first 12, you will get a completely different perspective on how fast we can implement a renewable city. And I think that's really exciting. And it's not just me saying it anymore. It's a bunch of actual research scientists who've put together a really strong methodology and come up with great results. Incontrovertible, we need to be running with it. Thank you.
Brilliant, nice and concise. Thank you so much, David. That was really interesting. Does anybody else have any final comments before we close out the meeting? No? Great, well, we're on time. Thank you so much to everybody for another fantastic year of networking and action on community energy in the city. And as we've said on a few times, we hope to engage on a more face-to-face basis in the future to enable some more cross-networking. But until then, have a fantastic evening. And yeah, thank you all again. And we hope to continue working over the next year and beyond.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Before jumping out, ladies, I would like to ask